So in philosophy of fearism, you explain for most indigenous people's worldviews, fear is only made reality by our choices. You quoted a Cherokee adage that says, quote, one should not look fear in the face, but allow fear to look itself in the face. How do we do that?
Mhm. With great difficulty, with great discipline, with great support and mentorship from those who have traveled the path ahead of you. And that requires humility, a humbleness, and a real true humbleness towards those who you may admire, who you feel have walked the path of fearlessness, as I call it, who have looked at fear and not just found ways to run around, cope around with it. And this is why there's been a turn, and I've taken some of that turn in as a cultural phenomenon of late and last few decades towards understanding the indigenous people's worldview. And that's a very complex topic, but I've written a book on Four Arrows, and he's an indigenous scholar and educator, and I've written an entire book on his work and understanding. So I look to those traditions not for all the answers. And so you can see these are the pre-civilized, pre-colonizing traditions of culture. And so it's kind of a cultural anthropology of fear that I'm speaking about. If you want to be able to understand fear better, manage it better, look to the elders, look to those who have lived these old ways, because the argument Four Arrows makes, I think it's somewhat problematic, but it's interesting, is that those who were on the planet for 99% of human history, this is just historical time, and for the most part did not systematically destroy their environments while they were living in them. Obviously they have an effect and sometimes have to move on and regraze another area. So it's not like they're perfect human beings, but they are certainly not of the same ilk that the industrial colonizing worldview and the peoples that followed that new worldview that really dissed nature and its natural principles of organizing. So he's like me, I'm advising there is a lot of wisdom to be gathered from what the indigenous people say. And some are, not all, obviously, are teaching about fear. And I'm an interpreter of Four Arrows' work and others in terms of the fear understanding and how to manage fear in a different way. And that's what, they don't try to escape fear in their worldview. That's what Four Arrows says. That's where this look it in the eye part of that comes, is you have to understand that, in a sense, you are the fear. Like, you have to look at your own self. And, Plato, Socrates, that's what he said, know thyself. And I say, know thy fearful self.